How you doing, people? Hope you're well. Okay, I'll get straight into it. Top 3 tips to help prevent injury over 50. So some of the tips you might think is common sense, but that doesn't mean to say that they're still not important to do before and after every workout. The first tip that you might not have heard before is before your workout, it might be in the morning, pretty soon after you've got out of bed, is to have a hot shower. Back in the day when I was playing squash, if you were at a tournament, on the day of a match, pretty much all of the players would have a shower before their match. And one of the principles of warming up is obviously to get your body temperature higher before you then stretch. Usually people warm up by getting their heart rate higher to raise body temperature, which makes your body more conducive to exercise. But having a hot shower beforehand does do a very similar thing. If any of you in a morning wake up and you've got aches and pains and you feel a bit inflexible, if you have a hot shower, you will be instantly more flexible. If you've got the type of shower that has a detachable nozzle, put the nozzle with the hot water on your neck and then have a little movement left and right. Put it on your lower back area and I'll guarantee you will feel better, more flexible, and your body that day will be just more suited to exercise and training. Definitely worth a try, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay. Tip 2, which you're going to say, oh, big deal, who doesn't know that? But it's important to say, is the warm-up. And warm-ups get more important the older you get. When you're in your 20s and 30s, you get away with jumping into an exercise session without really warming up. But once you get older, the game changes. And whatever exercise or training you're doing, whether it's strength training in the gym, going for a run, circuits, playing a sport, have a few stretches first, then do a round or two of the exercises or the type of thing that you're about to train in, just at a 50% rate for a few minutes to get the blood circulating in those muscles and to raise your body temperature. If you're doing a cardio session or more of a HIIT session, you might even want to feel a little bit of lactic burn in the muscles to really get the blood flowing to those specific areas. Maybe a few more minutes stretching, but don't go into the workout cold. Muscles don't like the cold. So make sure you're warm, make sure you've exercised the muscles that you are about to use, then have a little break with some stretching before you go into the full-blown workout. The warming up can sometimes seem a bit boring, bit of a pain to have to do, but it's more of a pain if you're injured. Okay, tip number 3, which is not very pleasant, but it works, is ice or very cold water on the muscles you've used when you're not injured. So I repeat, when you're not injured. So for example, sometimes when I've been for a run, I'll turn the shower on freezing cold and just put it on my calves, because that's for me usually the area where I may pick up an injury after running. Now there is some research to show that sometimes ice after a workout or very cold water, which also works well, can inhibit a little bit muscle growth. And that may be true to a certain extent, but for my money, it's more important that you're not injured. Remember, it's not just about muscles. Ligaments, tendons are also prone to stress and fatigue. So when you're putting the very cold water or the ice on those areas, you're also hitting the tendons and ligaments. And again, it's to stop that inflammation. And just as a sort of an extra point to that point 3, if you do have any niggles or injuries and you've done a workout to involve them, so let's say you've got a little bit of a dicky shoulder or a knee, put ice on that area as soon as possible after the workout. The important thing is that you nip it in the bud, you nip the inflammation in the bud as soon as possible after the workout. Don't get back from the gym, hang around, have a shower, have some food, and then later in the evening think, oh, I'll put some ice on my knee, for example. Do it immediately, as soon as you can. And that's why in the shower is a very good place, because it's pretty soon after the workout. Stick the shower on freezing cold and put the cold water on those body parts for a couple of minutes. You don't have to submerge yourself in cold water, just those body parts that you've worked. It is a little bit uncomfortable, but in a way, the way I think about it is that this is the sort of price I have to pay for maintaining a reasonably good level of fitness at the age I am. I'll just throw a 4th tip in there as well. I know it's a fundamental, I know you probably already know this, but if you get consistent, good sleep, that in itself will help prevent injury. Another common denominator for when I have ever got injured is off the back of poor sleep. So I know these points are common sense, but you'll be amazed how many people don't do those things and then get injured. Staying injury-free is an absolutely massive factor in staying fit and strong, especially as we get older, or certainly over 50. Okay, hope that was of use. Stay injury-free, keep training. See you in the next one.